Hi everyone, I'm Rosemary Miller here with the president of the New York Stock Exchange, Lynn Martin. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. What an amazing conference you are
Yes.
putting on.
I mean, all the people we were just talking about, Kim Cattrall, seeing her earlier.
Unbelievable. Mary J. Blige, unbelievable.
Well, Lynn, let's talk about you. So could you give me a brief overview of how you got to where you are today?
It's a good question. I took a kind of a non-linear path to get here, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to give you a very specific answer if I did this and wound up running the New York Stock Exchange. I started my career as a computer programmer, a totally non-traditional field for women, non-traditional field for finance at the time. And around the turn of the century, I was lucky that markets started to electronify, start to go more electronic, use more computers. So I had an opportunity to join an exchange that was going through that electronic evolution because they needed people to talk to programmers who were writing to their API and starting to interact with markets. It was a company called Life, London Financial Futures Exchange, back in 2001. That got acquired by a European exchange called Euronext. NYSE then acquired Euronext in 2007. So I wound up at NYSE more on the derivatives side of the business. Then NYSE was acquired. I wound up starting up our tech and data business for our parent company, ran that for 6.5 years. And the founder of our holding company said, hey, what about running the New York Stock Exchange? I think the first question I asked him was, great. That's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
But what led you to choose me? And I think it was the fact that there's no company that doesn't employ technology today, that doesn't use data today to make intelligent decisions about their customers, their products, their markets, whatever the case may be. So given that started up and ran a data business, ran it for almost 7 years, I would be able to have a different conversation with our CEOs at a time when data and harnessing the power of data was so important.
So what challenges did you face on this journey?
You know, I've managed to navigate a couple of non-traditional female-focused sectors, if you will, pretty successfully, both the technology sector as well as the financial sector. It's really been as a result, I would say, of my work ethic. I'm someone who really likes to get in the weeds, get their hands dirty, put their head down and just achieve a goal and try to do so in a collaborative fashion. I ask a lot of questions. I'm an intellectually curious person, and I've been fortunate that my career has taken me to where it's taken me.
So tell us, a day in your life on the trading floor and, on the weekend, just Lynn, doing Lynn.
Yeah. So a day in the life, every day is different at the New York Stock Exchange. We're the home of 2,400 listed companies. The largest listed companies in the market are our customers. We also have our iconic trading floor, which is where there's an awful lot of media as well. And we're also a gathering place, an iconic gathering place. We welcome heads of state, heads of countries, people within the cabinet. We've had, since the beginning of the year, I think we've had 6 different senior policymakers from the U.S. come through the New York Stock Exchange, and we're in the process of gearing up for UN Week and planning that out as well. So any day could bring about a CEO in a room. It could also bring about Secretary Yellen, who's visited us, or Secretary Raimondo having a roundtable with our CEOs. It could also bring up a variety of technology questions as we continue to revamp and refocus our technology.
I'm curious.
It's a pretty diverse day.
I imagine. Okay, I just talking to you, I get the sense that you know how to talk to anybody. Okay? So is that intentional? Like, are you the same Lynn with everybody, or do you switch it up?
I actually think one of the things I'm the most proud of, I'm kind of the same person with everyone. Like, someone asks me a question, I actually want to answer it,
Yeah.
as opposed to not answering the question. I'm very focused on how do I help people through their career, help teammates through their career, help other people be successful. The things that give me the most joy in life are other people being successful, quite honestly. So
speaking of success, like what do you do in your day? Like, is it morning meditation, journaling that you feel contributes to your success?
the one thing that clears my head, because there's a lot of stuff that with all the context switching I mentioned earlier, it's a lot of stuff that goes through your head throughout the course of the day. The one thing that clears my head is a good workout. I spend a lot of time when I am not in the office figuring out how to get a exercise routine, a class done, or something along those lines. Frequently, that is where I get my best ideas.
Really?
By the way, yeah, because I'll be in a spin class. Spin's my favorite thing to do.
Soul cycle?
Soul cycle.
Yes.
Soul cycle, 100%. And because I am tuning out the fact that I am climbing the hill or trying to figure out some crazy choreography in that class, my head will go to thinking about a business problem, and I'll come up with something as a result.
No excuses, huh?
No
If
excuses.
the president of the New York Stock Exchange can find time to exercise, so can you. Okay, so give us like your top 3 pieces of advice for somebody who wants to be in your position.
Ask a lot of questions. Don't feel intimidated to ask questions. Early on in my career, I would go into a room, I would be so intimidated to ask the questions. And a lot of times, if I had asked the question, it would be asking it for someone else who had the exact same question in the room. It improves your understanding. It allows you to give a different perspective as well. Second, work hard. Really just focus on getting your day-to-day done, as staying above the fray. It's easy to get sucked into whatever the water cooler chatter is, all that sort of stuff. And 3, be collaborative. It's a really good way to network too, if you're collaborative. It's a really good way to network in your organization, get to know other people in your organization. So even if your day-to-day job says, fill out this spreadsheet, reach across the aisle to a colleague and figure out if they're having a problem filling out their spreadsheet. Their spreadsheet might be harder than your spreadsheet. That's going to lead to probably a friendship as well as collaboration and maybe your next career opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.